Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Aska, where you, the audience, gets to ask questions of people that you may not be able to encounter in your everyday life. I am one of your hosts, Big Irish J. Hollingsworth, and
I'm KevOnStage, and we have a very special guest, the one, the only, the Doboy. And today's episode is Ask Someone Who's Had Weight Loss Surgery.
Yes.
Doboy, you are the person who's had weight loss surgery.
I have had weight loss surgery.
why are you looking at me like that? You're looking at me.
I was going to say that.
You literally immediately looked at me, both of you. I'm just like, okay, I get it.
I've had weight loss surgery, and I always get a ton of questions. So when I was approached by my good friend KevOnStage, I said, oh, man, I got a lot of things to talk about. Let's get it in.
All right, so we usually start the show by asking the questions that me and Jay have first, and then we get into what the audience has.
All right.
So I want to know because this is weight loss surgery is a major surgery.
Every surgery is a major
surgery.
Yes.
But that's a very major.
It's a big one.
It's a big surgery.
And do you want to be clear to specify what type of surgery it was?
What type of surgery did you have?
Okay, I had the gastric sleeve, not to be confused with the gastric bypass. If you don't know the difference, a gastric bypass is basically where they reroute your stomach from going to the bigger part to like a much smaller pouch. And with the gastric sleeve, they just cut off your stomach.
So where do they cut off and take it out?
Yeah, they take it out.
And
they like cut off like 80% of your stomach, and then your stomach's like this big.
So how did you decide which surgery to have?
Actually, the doctor had talked to me about it. He said that there was a higher success rate with gastric sleeve. Apparently, there's a lot of different problems and issues that can arise from doing the gastric bypass. Yes, and the gastric sleeve was supposed to be the more effective and longer route, because I think a lot of people were gaining their weight back from the gastric bypass, and this the weight gain from after you have a surgery was a little bit lower with gastric sleeve.
No, I was going to say, let's go back even further, even before we get to that. So what was your highest weight that you were at, and what caused you to be like, look, I need to, or was it you that brought up the idea that you wanted to do this, or did somebody tell you, hey, look, you need to look into this?
Well, my highest weight that I got up to was 486 pounds. So I was finna say hi to 500.
Man,
dang.
And it's so crazy too, because you never think, people always say like, no, you were never that big, but no, I was. It's just if you see me every day, you probably don't. Plus if you're my friend, you're probably not looking at me like
people
that.
People don't know what 486 pounds looks like.
Exactly.
Like I knew you at the time, I think.
Yeah, you did.
And I didn't know, oh my gosh, he's 486 pounds.
Right, you just know I was a big dude.
You're like, man, Doughboy, big. That's a big boy.
Well, the other thing too is also how you carry the weight, because like I don't know if you were like, I'll tell you what it means. I'm glad you asked.
Weight like this, very hard. I carry it very small.
I carry it on the shoulder.
Like as you've said yourself, you carry it in your breasts. True. That's what you like. I mean, I'm like evenly fat. Like I carry my weight all.
That was a great word. I was like, yeah.
It's like I'm
evenly distributed.
Yeah, it's not like I'm like just fat in my stomach, then everything else is skinny or top. I got big thighs. I'm evenly fat, and so that I think like that might play to it too, where somebody doesn't think that you're that big if it's evenly distributed, the weight.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that top heavy person that's just super big on top and then got the skinny legs.
Yeah, like if you had a huge gut, then people are like, oh man, that guy probably weighs a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So, to answer your question, I was 486 pounds, and I like to pride myself on always knowing when I'm getting really close to the fire. And just in life in general and making changes. And I just started to know, like, when it started to be, I was excited to wake up. And I'm not talking about just having enthusiasm for life. I was just like thinking I was going to die in my sleep every night. And then it was like walking up a flight of stairs. I'd be like, like I was
like
super.
a full flight or like 3 steps?
I'm like, bro, it could be just a
stepping
regular,
into the bathtub.
for real, it could be a step stool. I'd be like, oh, this is tiring. And then I remember one time too, I tried to, I was shooting a film a long time ago, and I had to use the bathroom really bad. I had to poop, Irish J.
Yeah.
And I went into this bathroom. It was the only bathroom that was available, and it was so small, and like I could barely even get it. It was probably
I know your plight.
It was a bad feeling to be trying to wiggle in and get your pants
you
down.
You always do yourself like that.
You're trying to unglue your slacks. It was just a mess. And there wasn't really necessarily a particular moment that spawned it, but it was just like once I started to gain the weight, like I just knew something was wrong. And then plus, I don't know if somebody might gonna ask this question, but I'll just say it now. So
that's fine.
When I went initially to get the surgery or whatever, I was 440 pounds, and the doctor was like, "All right, man, we're not doing this surgery until you lose 40 pounds. You come back, I'm not doing this if you're a pound
You're like,
over."
I just lost
He was like, "I'm not. I won't do this surgery if you're a pound over 399." He's like, "If you're 399 not 400, you won't be getting the surgery." And I came back and I was 486 in 3 months. He's like, "I told you to lose 40 and you gained 50." I was like, "Man, I was just kind of living it
There's a
up."
lot of pressure. A lot of pressure you put on.
Because I was like
500.
what I was doing, I was trying to get all the eating out of the way. And then I came back like, "Well, you want me to go back and try to lose the 86?" Like, "No, you're going to be 600 pounds. Get to the table." So
Then you can be on my 600-pound life.
Yeah. Yes and no, yes.
So one of my questions are, was it more of a Doughboy, I see myself and I want to see myself differently, or is it more like I don't like the way people look at me and I want to make that change? What would you
or
say,
was
like,
it? This is how I don't like how I feel.
Or
It was a combination of both. But I had always been big in my life, and I didn't necessarily have a problem with that because I'm not ugly. So I was always cool with that.
You do know that.
You do know that.
Very
so I was
humble.
always able to have, and I don't mean to say that like in a,
I know.
but that's like one of my things. Like I always, consider myself an attractive guy. So it wasn't necessarily for vanity reasons. It really, I really started to feel like I was gonna die.
Damn.
Like
So
I
it was
could.
How old
health.
were you at this
I
point?
was 35 when I did this.
How old are you now?
I'm 39.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, matter of fact, it'll be 4 years on January 8th. So next
Congratulations.
week. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've lost a total, and we'll get into the numbers of it. I'm pretty sure people are asking, but yeah, I lost a total of 200.
Damn.
So
And this is a totally terribly awful thing to say.
Oh,
I've been
no.
Doughboy's friend this whole time. There was a time when he was totally rocking, and I took a picture next to him, and I was like, "Whew, I got to get myself together."
That's the problem with
that
being a
picture
fat guy.
of you I remember in the back of ADD in the parking lot, you had all black on, and it's the picture you used as your before picture now. That day,
that day?
bro, you looked so slim
Right.
that day. I was like, man, this dude is killing it right
yeah.
now.
Absolutely. So yeah, and that was right around when I had cause shout out, to Russell Simmons. He had incentivized me and said, "Yo, man, you trying to lose this weight? Once you get 200 pounds down, I'm gonna give you $15,000." He was a man of his word, and he did that. So that was the day I got that check. He sent that check to
Is
me.
that just a black thing? You didn't.
Yeah.
You never offered me.
He
anything.
offered it to a couple people.
Yeah.
He was like,
I mean,
I'll
it
give
would've
you
been nice.
$5,000 if you can help coach him.
Yeah.
And then
I just
he
followed.
really paid too.
I followed through with it. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you where all that money is. I was, doing a lot of drinking at the time, but he gave it to me. I know he gave it to me. So yeah.
Also, don't want to know about the other incentives he gave some of the female workers. But
Oh, big Irish J! Cut that part out.
it's jokes. It's just jokes.
I didn't
Here,
say that.
I know. Let's move
I
on.
didn't
Hey, I didn't get an offer, so whatever.
In other news, so was it like, how difficult was it to make that decision? Like, I'm going to do, because I think Kanye West's mom passed away because of cosmetic surgery. I mean, was this considered cosmetic surgery or health or selective surgery?
I was very nervous to do it because anytime you go under anesthesia, period, it ain't no guarantee you waking up.
Right.
Anytime you go into a major surgery, it ain't gonna, it ain't no guarantee you're gonna wake up. I remember, and I won't say the doctor's name because I don't want to, make him sound crazy, but it was really talking to a doctor. He was a young black doctor, and I remember I went just for a physical. This is what kind of made me decide to do it. And he was just looking at the chart. And he was just like, oh my God, like he was just looking at it. And this is before I even started talking about doing weight loss surgery or whatever. And then he just looked at me and he closed the door. He was just like, "Nigga, you gonna die." And I was just
the
like,
doctor said that?
The doctor said that. He was like, the fact that you aren't having high blood pressure, diabetes at your size is nothing short of a miracle. You're gonna need.
Oh, so you never had none of those health issues?
I never had nothing. Nothing ever happened. I never had high blood pressure. I never had diabetes. I never had high cholesterol. None of those things. I didn't have any ailments. Nothing.
Were you eating healthy?
No. I was eating healthy sized portions of everything.
Yeah.
But and that really opened my eyes because he wasn't saying it to be rude. He was saying it to snap me out of something. Like, do you not see what you're doing? He was like, "You're a sitting duck for everything." And then he was like, "Look, I don't want to advise you to do weight loss surgery because there are risks to that." He was like, "But there's even more risk if you don't do something.
Because
you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. So yeah, that's really. So I guess I can say that was the changing moment when the doctor looked at me and called me a nigga and then says you're going to die. So I took that as an
I
omen.
get that all the time. The doctor.
So yeah, I think that was like the biggest moment, and there was a lot of fears because that's another thing too. That was my first major surgery.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
I had never had surgery.
It is terrible, especially when because I had partial knee replacement. When you have to sign the paperwork, basically saying like
that was
you
another
could
thing.
die.
Yeah,
And
you
that
can't
ain't
sue
on me,
them.
Playboy.
Yeah.
And then you can't sue them. So I remember signing that, and then I remember when I actually got the actual surgery. I was so big at the time, it took them over 90 minutes just to find my vein. And it got to the point they were just like, bro, if we can't find this vein, you can't do the surgery. So
You're like, find the gravy trail.
so that was the thing too. So yeah, so it was. I think that was the thing, the catalyst that changed me. Is it was just like, yo, I got to do something because I can't just allow myself to die.
Did you have someone in your life, whether it was a family member or maybe somebody you were dating or a brother or a close friend that is kind of going through this with you?
That was the thing. That was like, and that's why I always credit God for being so dope, because I live in LA, my family's in Sacramento. I was dating a girl at the time, she would eventually become my wife, and we would last 84 days in a marriage. But we were dealing with, that's another Ask a divorcee.
You started like, would be my wife for a time. The way you just say it so matter of factly is just funny, man.
So we were dating at the time, and this was right around December of 2014, and then we broke up. So she was kind of like in my corner the whole time, but then we broke up, and so I almost was not gonna do the surgery, because when I went to surgery, I went there alone. I didn't have anybody there to hold my hand. I had to do it by myself. Exactly. I was there, and I had never done a surgery in my life. So I was already petrified, like, oh my God.
I had an EKG one time, and I was by myself, and I cried.
Bro,
they came back, they're like, something's wrong, and I was just like, well, I'm crying.
And this is to show you how like naive.
Did you not ask anybody, or you had nobody?
I just didn't have anybody to ask. I just didn't have anybody to ask.
You didn't ask
me? A friend. I didn't know you at the time.
Well, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew you, but I didn't know you. I had just
come
met
to surgery with me.
Yeah, like I didn't know anybody that could,
I would go now though.
Absolutely, I would call you now.
I'd tell Kev to go now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing. It was just, and this even show you my naivety. My that's what it's called.
Naivete.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so my naivete was this. I had never had surgery, and this was just the dumbest thing that ever happened. So before I got to the surgery, the doctor told me, he was like, you need to go get this medicine for your pain when you come out of surgery. So I'm like, okay, me just being typical Doughboy, no. I'm procrastinating, and I wait till the day before, and then I try to go to CVS. They're like, it's gonna take 3 days. What are you doing? Get out of here, scram, buddy. So I'm like, all right. So then I go to the surgery, and before I go in and get wheeled in, the doctor's like, where's your medication? And so I knew he wasn't going to operate on me without it. And so I lied to him. I was like,
you said you had it at home?
No, I said my mom was on her way up there and she was bringing it right now. He was like, well, when is she going to be here? I was like, she'll be here in like 15 minutes. And we had already waited because they had been trying to get my vein for 90 minutes. And so he had been trying to get my vein for 90 minutes. And then they were already like falling off schedule. He was like, you sure your mom's going to be here 20 minutes? I'm lying to him. I'm like, yeah. All I remember, I remember being on the table, the anesthesia's kicking in. I'm like, bro, I have a daughter at home. Please don't let me die on this table. He was like, I got you.
Dude, this is all terrifying to me.
That's the last thing
that you say that. I mean, I don't lose your train of thought, but just I'm just trying to put myself in that, because like I said, I had knee surgery, but my buddy Sean went with me up there when I came out of it. He was there and everything, so we're cracking jokes. But I just imagine that you're seeing the guy and you're like, hey.
Bro,
you're like, dude,
and
that's going through your head is terrifying.
And that's the thing too. You don't
have nobody to tell you it's gonna be okay, or I got you, or
and
nothing.
you don't know if this is where it ends.
Right?
Do I just because that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about the weight loss surgery is that when they go in there to get to your to get to your stomach where they cut it, they have to lift your liver up, and that's the thing. Your liver is probably the most fattiest part of your body.
Yeah.
And if it's too fatty, and I was really starting to drink at the time, but I wasn't as much as an alcoholic as afterwards. But the thing, the place that they have it to where you can die is when they lift it up. If it's too heavy, it'll just crack right there, and then you'll die right instantly.
Your liver
and they
will crack?
tell you that. Yes, if they gotta lift up your liver, and if by whatever circumstance, if it cracks when they pick it up to get to your stomach to fix you, you'll die.
So they
right
have
there.
no idea of knowing.
They don't know that.
They don't know
There's
until
no
they
way
get
to
in there.
test
No way
fire.
to, and so I mean, they can get there and see. Oh well, we can't like. But once they're in there, they got to make a judgment call. Can he?
Oh my
So
God.
I'm going through all of this, and I'm laying on the table. It's for my first time in surgery, and I don't know if I'm going to die. And I had just lied to him about the medication because I'm not knowing the seriousness of what it is.
That's such a guy thing.
So, I'm thinking I'm tough, and I'm like, I got it, man. So I remember waking up, and then I don't remember nothing about the surgery. I think for a second in the surgery, I think in my conscious mind I woke up. But in any event, so when I wake up, the next thing I wake up and everybody's yelling, and all I hear is these machines beeping, and they're trying to pick me up off the gurney and put me onto the thing so I can get into the ambulance. And all the doctor's doing is yelling at me like, "Why would you lie to me? Your mother never showed. You don't have the medication."
Wait, were you hallucinating?
No, I was with.
No, he's listening to the doctor.
No,
so this happened for real?
This happened for real. So when I came, I black out, boom, I lied to them knowing I lied to them. Then my eyes open, and then he's looking at me like,
The surgery's over.
Surgery's over. Like, you said your mom was going to be here. You need this medication. I was like, I lied. He was like, oh my gosh. And they were sitting there like, they don't know how I was able to deal, because it's some of the most, it felt like somebody was on my stomach with a blowtorch.
Oh.
I've never felt anything like that. It put like this. It hurt so much, I felt like it wouldn't have even made sense to cry. Because I'm like, that's not even going to do anything right now.
What?
It hurt that bad. I was just like, and I remember them put me on, and I was just like, and it got so bad to where when they put me in a resort after that for 2 days, that, just to recover or whatever,
right.
My mom and my sister had to end up calling like a carrier service to go to the Walgreens, pick up my medication, and bring it to the hospital. Because
so you could deal with the pain?
Just so I could deal with the pain. Because I'm el stupido. Like a dummy. So yeah, so that was my experience. And
so, I mean, shoot. I mean, if you're watching this or thinking about it, that's probably the worst of like, how bad is it?
Don't lie about your meds.
No, and that's another thing
bad,
too.
Actually.
And that's another thing too. And I know you guys got questions, but I'm gonna offer some questions even if you don't answer, if you don't ask them. The thing is this. This is where I was foolish. Because when they set you up to do the surgery, they talk to you a lot and they tell you everything, and they try to get you to lose weight. And the number one thing that they told me was, you need to get into therapy. If you, they told me, they said this surgery creates alcoholics and creates chemical dependencies, because what you're dealing with is if you're self-medicating and you're eating,
with food,
all we're gonna do is take that away from you. If you don't deal with why you were eating, you're gonna just put it somewhere else. So I had what was classically, I did, and me, because mental health in the Black community is kind of just frowned upon. I'm like, I'm straight. I don't need to go talk to no shrink. I'm good. And so I didn't do that. I neglected that part. And then over the year, and you've seen this happen, I had what's called a transfer of addiction. So now it's no longer a transfer. It's no longer an addiction to food because I can't eat. I'm eating 2-3 bites, and then so now it's like I'm still trying to self-medicate, and then I automatically went to alcohol and then ended up spiraling out, becoming a functioning alcoholic and almost losing my life from alcoholism. Damn. Because I wasn't wise enough to listen to the counsel of this medical team and go get some professional help.
Yeah, you
about
really
my
handled
mental
this
state.
like a big dum-dum.
I was an idiot.
Like you lied about the medicine.
That's why I lied about everything.
Like,
I didn't go talk to the therapist. Like, I did everything wrong. So that's why I jumped at the opportunity, because I was like, no, let me go tell these people what not to do.
Now, how long, when you, once the doctor called you that word, and then said you should get this surgery.
That way. This would have been a different interview.
I don't say that word.
I got you.
Unless sporting events or traffic.
Got you.
No, but did once that doctor was like, I don't usually do this, but you may need this surgery. What is the process? Because you have to get approved for it, right?
You got to get approved.
And then talk about that, and then also like insurance. Did insurance cover it?
Okay.
Did it not? How much did it cost? All that stuff.
I got you. So the good thing about it was, I had actually, because God just be working in my favor a lot of times, I had actually just started working at Allstate at the time, and their benefits start right away.
You were in good hands.
I was in good hands with Allstate. I like what you did there. You give that to him, Kevin. You give it to him.
No.
He deserves it.
No.
So basically,
I'm the captain now.
my benefits was day one.
That's great.
So I went in for the consultation in September, and I ended up getting this. They took me off of work December 8th. And then I got the surgery January 8th. I did not pay $1 out of pocket, and I believe the surgery was in excess of 70 to 80 grand.
Dang.
And I didn't have to pay none of it.
That's great.
And praise God for that.
Yeah. Man.
So yeah.
And now, so leading up to the surgery, you didn't do the meds thing, but did they tell you like you have to? Is there a certain amount of time before the surgery you have to change your diet?
They told me that. I did not listen.
I
ate Jack in the Box the night before.
Oh my god!
And the best part is they give you this stuff that you're supposed to drink to so they can go in there and look.
Barium.
Some clear stuff, and I was eating. I said, this is it. So I was going to town. I was just like, I didn't do
eat soups and broths. I'll take a jumbo.
And that's the thing. They were like telling you to like kind of cut your portions down and kind of work up to it.
Prepare for what your new life is going to be like.
Yeah, and I wasn't doing that. I was having like that moment of the fight or flight where I'm like, no, I'm never going to be able to eat
it all now. I won't be able to gorge myself.
That's why
anymore.
I gained like 40 pounds in 3 months.
So once you get out of the surgery, then what is the recovery time, and what are the steps of recovery?
The recovery time wasn't really that bad. I was off my feet for 3 days. And shout out to Kamira White. She's a comedian. And I didn't even know her that good at the time. She was the person that picked me up from the hospital, took me over to my homeboy Drew's house, and he helped take care of me after that. So shout out to her. So the downtime that I was in the hospital was like 3 days, and I think I might have went to my guy's house and kicked it at his crib for like 3 or 4 days. So I really couldn't do anything for like a week. Okay. I was just kind of
like laid up.
I was laid up, couldn't even move for the first 3.
And you don't have the meds.
No, I got the meds finally, so then
okay.
I'm kind of cool. So then the pain was kind of subsiding, as well. That's another thing they told me too. Like a lot of people, if you don't get an alcohol addiction, you can get a pill addiction. Like I was learning about people
to the pain medication.
To pain medication, and like a lot of people just start popping pills, and then it's like because you're not getting enough food to supplement and give you the nutrients. Like a lot of people end up just being a mess after that. Like I've heard of people losing their teeth, their hair. Dang. Because you're not getting the vitamins from the food. And then if you start abusing a substance, it could just wreak havoc on your body.
Would you say, what percentage of you not going to therapy or dealing with your feelings led to the weight gain and maybe the resulting alcoholism?
100%. It was all about that because I didn't check. It's all emotional, and that's why I'm so outspoken about the alcoholism thing, because I feel like I don't want to say I've cracked the code, but I've learned about the disease. And it's like you're running from something. You're self-medicating. Most people that you see getting high, getting drunk, doing whatever, they're doing it because they're not at peace with something that's going on. So the fact that I didn't do those things, I think absolutely, because I used to drink before I got the surgery, but I was not an alcoholic. I used to drink consistently, but I could go a couple days, few weeks, whatever. But once I got it, accelerated my path as an alcoholic.
Well, did the smallness of your stomach increase the effects of alcohol?
Absolutely, because what it did, and this was just the unfortunate part. This is what I definitely want people to know if you're definitely looking to get the surgery. The surgery will stop what you can eat. It has nothing to do with what you can drink. So I could not eat really at all, but I could drink.
Right.
And it would.
And also, the surgery doesn't affect the mental thought process from what you're saying. The thought process that leads you to be, that big.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So you have to check what's going on in here, because it was what was going on in here that had me eating and being up to 480 pounds, and then then switching and having the transfer of addiction, becoming a full-fledged alcoholic. And another thing people don't understand about the effect that alcohol can have on your body after you get the surgery is that now you're dealing with a half a stomach. Actually, you're dealing with 20% of the 100 that you had. So you don't have the same enzymes in your stomach to even protect you anymore. So now when I'm drinking, and I'm drinking a half a bottle, that's like you drinking a whole bottle.
Right.
But and the crazy thing is, I'm still thinking I can drink like I was drinking when I didn't have this surgery, and I'm still drinking it. Oh. So I'm like drinking double. It was a mess.
Now, once you have the surgery, is there a certain time? And I don't know if this is for the sleeve or the bypass surgery or both, because I always hear that you got to do like liquid. It's like a liquid diet for a while.
You do,
like
you do
pills and diet and liquid diet, or
for
what?
When you first. So with the gastric sleeve, I was on like liquids and soft foods for like the first. Say like week.
Thank God you actually did it, and we're like, I'm gonna get Popeyes.
Nah. But I've heard people. I've talked to people who had the surgery that went and got in and out right after.
What?
Right. So that's the thing. So people just don't be listening. But you have to understand, when you think about the psychology of how we eat as people, it's actually insane to be cutting you. Like, you know what I mean? To do that, because we're so undisciplined with how we eat. And don't just think because they cut you that now you're going to be able to show restraint. You still going to be that same person. Now you'll just be hurting yourself when you do it. So
right.
Yeah.
So I know one thing. This is something I actually know you struggle with. But like, how did you deal with the idea of people being like you cheated because you got surgery?
I hated that, and it made me like hate the fact that I got the surgery. And you remember time because people they used to make me mad because they acted like I just did nothing to assist. Like it's almost like you just took an easy way out or a pill, and it's just really in the psychology of the mind that I went through and was going through. It was just so messed up because here I am finally losing weight, finally getting healthy, and now I feel guilty like I somehow shortcutted the system or cheated the system.
Scumbags.
Right, and it almost got me to the point too where people would ask me how I would lose weight, and then I would just stop mentioning the weight loss surgery because I'm just like, I don't want you taking all the credit for something that
you want to be like, I had surgery, and they're like, so you didn't really. You didn't,
like it's almost like they just.
There's a lot of work that you have to do to like continue to lose the weight, right?
It's a whole lot of work, and it's a whole lot of work to keep it off. Like that's what I'm saying. Like for me to be at this point, like because since I did the surgery, I started at 486. The lowest I got was like 285. But then when I went to rehab, like I picked up a little weight, like maybe 20 pounds. So and then I've lost like 10 of that. So to be 4 years removed and still like at like a 190 net loss, like, and that's just a great thing because a lot of people gain their weight back.
You did too many ads.
I know, yeah. So I'm still
He's at 190. He's
I'm at 190.
Don't cry, dude. Don't cry. I know it's emotional.
I'm down of
carry the 3. I got
my gross was 200. My net is 190. There we go.
Gross
so
what?
My gross is 200 that I lost. My net is 190. Does that make sense? Or
yes.
You still you still like you understand?
I got it, bro. 10 pounds difference of the negative.
Right, but to be able to do that over a 4-year time period is actually really
transference.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you? People had asked, do you have to take pills the rest of your life? That was the question.
No. The reason why I'm laughing is because no, they didn't necessarily tell me about any pills that I need to take. They did tell me to take like multivitamins but is there like a regimen of pills that you have to take after surgery? No. Okay. I didn't have to do that. But you were supposed to like take more vitamins. I wasn't. And then once the alcoholism took over, that's a whole nother
You took your pills liquidy.
Yeah, that was actually one of the messed up parts. Because you know how most people associate alcohol with weight gain? The messed up part was alcohol.
You was losing the
weight.
I
was losing weight drinking because I wasn't eating.
Yeah, I remember.
And I started to think like,
I low-key took advantage of it.
Yeah,
we would go to sushi. I'm like, he going to have a little too of his.
So he would order less food because he knew I wouldn't eat.
I'm going to be jumping. Hey, get the crunchy shrimp wrap.
That's what you like.
And then I'm going to get this and then we know.
Right. And so that's the thing that was
bad, bro. I took advantage of it.
No, man, you're my friend. You're supposed to. But that was the thing that was messed up was that the alcohol at some point started helping me lose weight, but probably the most unhealthiest weight loss. And that's why even like when you see pictures of me a little bit smaller, like if you look at my face, I looked a mess because it was just like I started to have the bags on the eyes. It was just like I was just, and that was the thing that happened. It was very important that I said this too. This is the thing that actually really, really happened. So I lost, started losing the weight, but then I was drinking all the time. Now I'm drinking every day, a bottle a night by myself. So that's like a regular person drinking 2 bottles. So then when I wake up, so it's just like the rules of drinking. I know you don't drink, but I know you do.
Right.
So what's the rule? Like after you turn up, you go to sleep, you wake up, I'm not drunk anymore, right? Yeah. It's a new day, right? So I would go off thinking that, but not understanding that I have a reconstructed stomach.
Right.
That, you know what I'm saying? So there's still liquor in my stomach when I wake up.
So
that's why when we would go to lunch a lot of the times, I was steady throwing up because I'm trying to eat and then my stomach's like, not because there's liquor in my stomach. So, and that became the thing. And then even like, I was one of those people to where before the surgery, I may have thrown up twice a year on average in my life. And only usually if I got like sick.
Right.
I hate throwing up. When I first got that surgery, I threw up every day for 2.5 years.
Dang.
I was at a lot of those lunches.
Bruh. And I'll just be like, all right, I'll be right back. And I go to the bathroom, I come back with the bloodshot eyes and it was
2.5 years
throwing. And
it was pretty much until you stopped drinking,
bro. And that's because it's the lies that we tell ourselves. I'm sitting here thinking I'll never be able to enjoy food again because I got weight loss surgery. The hell with this surgery. Once I stop drinking, I can eat fine.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm gonna guess, but question: do you regret having the surgery?
I don't regret having the surgery. I regret not taking wise counsel about going into the surgery because I literally could have died.
Yeah.
Because of how I was acting, and that's
They
that's
don't tell
why
you that just for fun. Like, hey,
Right.
man, follow these rules or don't. You know, what do we know?
Yeah.
What do we know? We're just, but no, that's the thing. I don't regret the surgery, and I do feel like it helped me lose a lot of weight. But where I do regret not taking it serious is that I was really playing with my life. Like,
Yeah.
I really went to rehab 2 times, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't have become that kind of alcoholic without the surgery, but we'll never know. You know what I mean? So I know that I did it, and so in not taking those things seriously, like the mental health part of it, and even like how I was eating, because that's the thing. Like they tell you not to drink soda. I was drinking soda like 2 weeks in.
Dang.
Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Basically,
I live like how I want to live.
So this whole thing, for anybody thinking about doing it, is do as he says, not as he did.
Not as I do now.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing, and that's what I can actually say in hindsight, in the optics being different now, is that if you do it and you do it right, it could be very effective, and you cannot have those downfalls.
Right.
So if you are thinking about doing it, I would absolutely say listen to your doctor, lose the weight that you can, because this is the thing a lot of people don't understand. They're going to tell you to lose an amount of weight, which is most likely going to be around 10% of your body weight, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you do that, on top of it making the surgery easier, what they're really trying to tell you is you can do this without the surgery.
Got it.
You can do it. So if you're 400 pounds and they say, all right, go lose 40 pounds and then we'll do this, and you come back and then you 360, they could be like, all right, lose another 40. Like, you know what I mean? And
then
then
when they saw you, they were like, okay, we got it.
But when I came back and I'm
going
plus
the wrong
45, they're like, get on the table now. But it's Sunday. Get on there. So, yeah, so that's what I would say. Like, if you're going to do it, you could do it, but just take it seriously, because you might not be as lucky as I was. And I do know that I'm lucky and blessed to have made it through that. But I've heard some horror stories. I've heard some people who just end up getting strung out on different drugs because they have the same thing I had, which was transfer of addiction.
Right.
And they can't always walk it back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people deal with a lot of mental anguish. They say one of the leading causes of death in weight loss surgery, guess what would you think it is?
Leading causes of death in weight loss surgery?
Mm-hmm. One of them.
I would say probably like they just go to sleep and don't, maybe a heart attack in surgery.
What would you think?
Brain aneurysm.
Suicide.
Wait,
Really?
Yes, because a lot of people lose weight and then gain it back and can't deal with the mental anguish of the public perception.
Okay, gotcha.
The public perception of, I lost this weight,
You
then I
failed
gained it back.
again.
The embarrassment. A lot of people take their own lives.
Dang.
So that's the thing. So it's like it's a real serious thing. So I would tell anybody to take it serious. Don't take it as a joke. I took it as a joke. Luckily, I didn't, become the punchline of the joke, but it could have ended a lot. It could have ended a lot worse.
So did the surgery have an effect on the way your self-confidence, your mental health?
Absolutely. And it took me to a dark place. I think I talked to you about this. I was overweight my entire life. So, I mean, I'm serious, like my entire life. Like, I remember, like, not just even like being a kid, like even at conception, I was a fat sperm. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had a t-shirt on in the fallopian tube. Like, I was just fat forever, but I've been big. And so people treat you a certain type of way when you're overweight. So women with me used to always like curb me and I'm not going to lie. Like, when I lost weight, I was looking for revenge. I had turned into this real dark person that would go back and find the girls that I felt hurt my feelings, now they own me because I lost a bunch of weight, and get them to be like me, okay, cool, and then diss them. Dark energy, and my life started to reflect that, because if you have that type of energy, then you're gonna get that back. So if my intent is to go out and hurt somebody's feelings, and then so like it finally made sense, like once I got my head together, like, well, that's why I ran into so much heartbreak and so much, because I put that out there to the world. Like, you know what I mean? So to answer your question, I definitely went through a moment where I was just definitely feeling myself. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was kind of like.
But you used your power for evil.
I used my power for evil. And that's why I try to do things like this to, use it for good, because it can happen to you. You can start smelling yourself a little bit, and you can start to take on some darker energies that ain't necessarily positive. So,
have you had any lasting effects from the surgery? Like,
I still can't eat like a lot. That's why, like, even like when I was out there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like still to this day, or even like when we'll go out to eat, like, Kev, I felt bad. We was out in Vegas not too long ago, and Kev bought my food, and we were at a really expensive buffet. I know it was expensive. He spent like $60 or $70. It was a lot of money. And I couldn't eat that much. And I felt bad. So still to this day, I can't eat a lot of food.
It's fine.
No.
It's fine.
But I felt bad. I wanted to eat more so you can get your money's worth. But I still can't eat a lot of food. So, I mean, I'll make up for it. I'll eat half and then I'll come back and circle the block and half it up
Or you'll
again.
keep a steak in the trunk.
I keep steaks in the trunk. You feel me?
He had a steak in the trunk.
Pop in the trunk for him means I'm about to pop the trunk. I ain't got a gun.
Like,
Just-
He's going for the gat. No, he's going for the prime rib. Now, this is obviously a question a lot of people had asked. Once you start losing weight, you have skin. You don't.
I don't have.
Why? Nothing happened to you the way it should happen.
Oh, I'm a different type of case there. But let me tell you why, though. Because I didn't have massive quick drops. I had steady drops. So even though I lost 200 pounds, it was over like I lost that first 200 like in the first 18 months. But it was never nothing crazy. It was just,
Right.
you know, like Kevin used to have a running joke like, oh man, you're just melting away to nothing. But it was gradual. It was, and I think some people will just allude, and I had muscle underneath. So that's a lot of times people, fix your face. I have muscle under here. There's muscles. So,
clams, shrimp.
That's great. That was pretty good.
Walked
That's
into
pretty
it.
good. Very nice.
Well played.
Very nice.
You
That was
did it.
good.
You
That was
did it.
good.
You got. But no, like, I don't have that because honestly, that was one of the reasons why I was not going to get the surgery. Because
you almost have to have another plastic surgery. Too.
Exactly. And I didn't want it. I wasn't going to get another surgery. And then like, I'm so proud of my body. Like even like, you know, if you can see like a lot of my early comedy, like I would take off my shirt. I was never ashamed of it like that. And I would be like, some people would lose a bunch of weight and you see all that extra skin and they would say they hated their bodies even more than before they got it.
Sometimes that skin, there's like I follow some people who've had weight loss surgery or just dropped a lot of weight, you know, through working out and eating right. And some of that skin, like there's
nothing
no
you can do
exercise for it.
Right.
It cannot like it's.
You get on the stomach and the
elasticity is gone, so you have to have like cosmetic surgery to tighten it up.
And I was thinking about that too because you know even now like right now I'm about 305 and my goal is 200. I want to be the same size as Michael B. Jordan. Shout out to that goal. But I started to think once I get closer to that because I'm gonna hit the goal. Michael B. Jordan. Okay. You feel me?
Hey, I support your goal.
Come on, man.
Get it.
Hey,
Don't let. Oh man. Oh man. So cool.
Is this fat shaming?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, it totally
I
is.
feel I have no problem roasting you on any other content we do.
Except right now, yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, it looks like you're
you're
really
part of the
holding
reason
back.
that I even had to get surgery.
Yeah.
People like you mean.
Bro, I
You
thought you were serious.
mean.
I was like, I never said that to you.
I didn't even know you before you got the surgery.
And I love how you're like, I don't want to do it here. You're really holding back, aren't you?
I'm still a light jab.
That's cool, man. But not, yeah.
So did you have like ugly duckling syndrome? Not with your way you look. Like I know you're very confident in your looks, but did you like look in the mirror and just be like, man, I got to do something?
Yes, because it started to be like, are you talking about before I got the surgery? Like
Yeah,
that
before I got the
it?
surgery.
Yeah, I was just like, man,
And it didn't affect your love life because you was out here.
But see, I said it didn't affect my love life, but in ways it did. Like having sex as a 480-pound man ain't
Not
really
on top.
the truth. You only got really a couple
Two
positions, that you can even go to.
I know you're preaching to the choir.
I had a chick try to ride me back in the day, dislocated her hip.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I'm like, get on top of there, girl. She's like, ah. I'm like, yeah. Like, no,
I'd have been more.
I'm like, oh.
I'd
To the ER.
I'd have been more impressed
Like,
if you
told
said.
that thing up, I threw the hip out. Portion.
For real.
Yeah.
No. I'm in a lot of pain.
I'd have been impressed if you said you dislocated her
ain't
jaw.
no sex in no bathtubs. No. You flood the bathroom out.
Remember one time you said, so Teddy, and you had a girl try to give you a lap dance and she sprayed her lap. Oh my God. Man. Oh.
Yeah, so that I did have ugly duckling syndrome. I did not like the way that I looked.
But what are the two positions?
Huh?
Oh, I
Doggy
can
style.
tell you. Yeah, or on bottom.
No, you said two. I said doggy style. I don't know. What
That's the only one. Oh,
Doggy style.
all right.
I ain't trying to get on top of nobody. You ever just be
No,
on top
underneath,
of the chick and she
you're on
just
bottom,
disappear?
her
You're
on
like, wait,
top.
where are you?
Yeah. Her on top.
Come back to me.
So the girl's like, switch it up. The boy's like, no, we won't be.
So you can't really have good sex. It's a lot going. And then just to look at yourself naked at 480. Wasn't the best sight of mine eyes.
I don't like looking at myself naked.
And just think if you added, how much about 240? Think if you added about, double that up though.
500.
Yeah, that's what I want for 86. Man, and I didn't like it. But see, it wasn't necessarily vanity things. It was practical things. It was the fact that I tried to get on a roller coaster. Still to this day, haven't been on a roller coaster.
Oh, dude, I had that happen in Florida.
Have you ever been kicked off a roller coaster?
No, because I couldn't get on it.
No, I was saying they told me to get off. Like,
you can't shut the thing.
It's exciting enough being fat. Get out of here. That's what. You don't need the thrill of this. But it was just
they're like, if we put you on this, it'll be a thrill ride for everybody. We're gonna survive.
Y'all get on him. Walk around in his shoes. Literally, that's a roller coaster. But no, so I couldn't get on roller coasters.
Dude, I had that same thing happen in Florida.
It's so embarrassing. You never know that you're fat until a bunch of park goers who are slim enough to fit in their seats are just looking at you like, get out so we can have fun. Go eat.
Dude.
They look so angry because I'm sitting there trying to hold it like, waiting for that click, didn't hear the click, and then you hear the thing start moving like, wait, let me get over here. Don't you kill me out here.
Dude, I was at Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida, and it was me and this girl, we went, like we were on a date, and I told her beforehand, I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to fit in that ride. Oh no, come on. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm probably not going to. Okay, let's go try. Right. Let's just let me get embarrassed in front of everybody. Then I'm like, I told you, I'm like, you're trying to jam it. I'm like, I told you, it's not going to work. You're also
super tall too.
My legs and everything. And so I'm like, well, enjoy the ride. I'll be over here watching. So
that's messed. That happened to me too because I was with my daughter's mom at the time, and so I had to get off, and so I had to look at her.
Yes.
I was like, no, you go ahead. She was like, all right. And she's sitting there trying to act like she's not having fun. She tried not to kick her feet as much. She like. She's like, all right, I'll be right back.
And you're like this. You're like, yeah, go ahead because you're trying to get it over with and get out of there quickly. You don't want to attract
those
attention.
Moments were embarrassing. I broke a girl's seatbelt on a first date before. Like, it's just things that you don't think are gonna bother you.
Break a seatbelt?
Because
you tried to eat it,
and I was trying to pull it over, and then all of a sudden it was just like, you know how like they bounce back. Then it just was just.
Oh no!
It was like a rope. It was just like. I don't even know how I did it. She was just like, what's wrong with the seatbelt? I was just like, I don't know.
You should have been like, man, whoever sat here last really messed your seatbelt up.
Because it was one of those things that the little ding, ding, ding keeps on. It's like, can you hurry up and put that on? So I'm like, oh, man. She's like, no, just put it on. I'm like, bro, let me out. I'll walk from here. You're fat shaming me with the seatbelt.
Oh, no.
So yeah, and even like going to on airplanes. I remember I told Kevin a story. I was going to Wilding Out the first time, and I was just spilling over the seat. And so this lady was sitting next to me. And so the stewardess person came over. She was like, "Sir," because she seen that I was just spilling over, and she was like, "Sir, we may have to get you to get an extra seat. We don't want you inconveniencing the other passengers." And the little white lady got so angry at her. She was like, "Who do you think you are? Who is your superior? He is fine. You don't talk to him like that.
Same white people.
And it was all
white
cool,
people sometimes nice.
But she didn't keep that same energy because about 3 hours into that flight,
she's like, "Get this." She's like, "Yeah, where is your supervisor?
Where's the supervisor? Get this fat nigga out of here now. Save me from myself." So yes, things like that, practical reasons. And then I got to the point where I was too big for clothes at the big and tall store.
Oh man,
they stop at size 60.
Where do you go after that?
You wear muumuus.
Amir the tent maker,
bro. Like it's and when you run out of clothes to wear at the big and tall store, which is a store designed for big people, and even when they like, bruh.
Yeah,
you got wear bigger and taller.
Yeah, and so that's really where my love affair began with Burlington Coat Factory. They would be the only place to have clothes my size.
We were talking about
we had a professional stylist on. He said Burlington pays top dollar.
Yeah,
what?
He said Burlington has bread.
Yeah.
Did you be in there?
I be in there.
Dude, I'm in there.
Mark Echo,
5X, 6X,
Sean John, they got it all.
It be lit. So yeah, those were the type of things that I was just like, I'm not even getting the full quality of life right now. So, even being happy to now be able to get on an airplane and not have to get an extension for the seatbelt. It's just stuff like that is cool.
So how do you respond to questions about your weight?
Wait, before how are we on time? Okay.
He'll tell us. Now I gotta edit.
Don't be rushing us.
I love it.
I'm not editing.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This chair, I need a pillow for my butt.
It's not comfortable?
No, not for me. Oh. That's all right. Go ahead.
This is the best we got.
I know. Go ahead.
Ain't nothing we can do to fix it. We just wanted to see how much it was bothering you. Well, what was your question? You said somebody had a question.
Go ahead.
It was how do you do with people asking you questions about your weight?
It's always just a loaded question. The messed up part is that people just from their own devices, they don't always understand things. Like, so I obviously had gained a little bit of weight when I came home from rehab. And so, people, I just don't understand people sometimes. Like, people just say things like, I want to say this straight to camera. You don't ever need to tell somebody that they're gaining weight. They already know. You know what I mean? So just don't. I mean, and I get it if you're, hold on one second. My phone is ringing.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry about that. So it's not like,
Popeye's calling.
I can get it. I can hear it. I can get it. Like if Kevin's my best friend. So if Kevin says a joke about, like, it's all right, like it's cool, it's not really a big deal. But for people to come up to you, be like, oh, you putting your weight back on, like
I know. Shut up.
And what people also don't understand is that when I'm coming out of rehab, my body is having an automatic function to put weight back on. So it's like you're already making me feel uncomfortable by drawing attention to something that I already know.
And
about.
all the emotions going through you. Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't like that. So it's just like, I would, if you see me and you feel like I'm smaller than the last time you see me and you want to give me a compliment, I'll take that. But I don't always want to just break out into a conversation about my weight and if I'm gaining it back. Because I just be like, man, shut up. I don't want to hear this.
Would you say your family was supportive with the decision, or did they have anything to do with it?
They didn't. I really didn't like consult them as much. I kind of just was telling them about that, but even they were pretty supportive, but I feel like even when I was like telling them, they were just like, their whole thing was, you're not that big. You don't need that. And I just didn't carry it. Like, even though I was big, like I just, I didn't have the health ailments and the failing health that other people have. So they were just like, you can do this the natural way. That's always a big thing you're going to get. Like, people act as if you can do it naturally.
Like you didn't think about that, or
exactly.
try that,
or I didn't try that a million times. Like, exactly. So and they always make you feel guilty. Like the thing earlier before, like almost like you're giving out or taking a cheat code. So I knew at that decision, I knew I had to make a drastic decision to figure something out. So that's why I did on it. So I really didn't leave a lot of wiggle room for anybody to be able to talk me out of it. So even if they would have wanted to, they wouldn't have been able to.
Got it.
I'm pretty headstrong when I'm ready to get something done.
Jay, you have any more questions?
I think I've got all mine.
Doughboy tends to talk about a lot of different things without asking, so it makes our job a lot easier. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all I have.
That's all you have?
That's all I have. So,
well, let me put a button on it.
Put a button on it and tell people where they can find you and what they should be.
Well, no, let me put a button on how I feel about weight loss surgery. I still have more things to say. Stop rushing me out of here.
I'm not.
You don't work at All Deaf anymore. We could be friends and talk.
Do?
I do. But I'm just saying, I could talk. So this is how I feel about weight loss surgery as a whole. Because I know somebody's out there watching this right now. This is another reason why I don't always just credit weight loss surgery, because when you could probably attest this, or anybody who's ever struggled with their weight, when you're struggling with your weight and you see somebody who loses weight, all you want to do is hear what they did and then you go try it. So if you tell me, hey man, I've been on the keto, I lost 20 pounds. As soon as I go home, I'm eating a bunless burger because you said that.
Right.
It's like, so I have to be careful when I tell people about weight loss surgery. So what I would like to tell anybody that's dealing with, the thought of weight loss surgery, first of all, make sure you're big enough to do it. And what I mean by that is getting so out of hand. I heard recently somebody was like 225 getting the weight loss surgery, not in like 5'8", like, you know what I mean? Not even nothing
We're in a midget
crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, don't do it. I mean, if you have 40, 50 pounds to, like, this should be something where you've exhausted every other option. There is nothing else that can help you, and you feel as if your back is pressed against the wall and there's nothing that you can do. Now, in the event that you do that, I would implore all of you to take every pre-step that your doctor and medical staff gives you very, very seriously. Talk to a counselor. Lose the weight that you can. Once you lose that weight, see if you can lose a little bit more. Take it seriously. Go to all the Kaisers. Now, Kaiser doesn't play. Now, I don't even remember who I went through when I got mine, but if Kaiser, like, you got to go through a gauntlet of stuff. They like, if you miss one meeting, you're off the list. Like, they don't play because a lot of them know that it can create different situations that they can't come and fix you from.
Right.
Like, because if you think about it, like, yeah, they gave me weight loss surgery, right? And so when I got weight loss surgery, but because of my behavior, I turned into a full-blown alcoholic. Right. There ain't no pill that they can give me to fix alcoholism. So now I just got a whole new thing, which was indirectly tied to this surgery, and they don't know how to pull me out from that. So I would say if you are looking to do it, just take it seriously. Listen to your doctors. Follow your diet. Don't be like me. Don't try to wing it. Don't lie about your medication because it might not work out for you. And I'm lucky and I'm blessed. So I don't ever say those things to say, oh, I've outsmarted the system and I know things more. It's like, no, sometimes I just feel like I suffer from dumb luck. I just, you know, things don't happen. But if you're going to do it right. But the number one thing I would ask all of you to do, find out the reason you are using food to self-medicate. Right. Because whether you get the surgery or you don't, you're still going to have to deal with why are you overeating to self-medicate. Right. And you're going to have to address that either way that you do it. So, yeah. And like I said, man, my name has been Doboy. You can find me on all social media outlets at I Am Doboy. That's Doboy. And I have a new YouTube page at I Am Doboy TV. Please follow me. And I have a really successful podcast with my good friend Kevin called Righteous and Ratchet. Yeah. And me and Irish J, we know each other and we're sitting next to each other in this setting right now, so that's where that goes.
Hey,
so.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I've been Kevin.
He's emotional.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I've been KevOnStage, Big Irish J, special guest Doboy, and this has been Aska. We'll see you next time.